Talks between the Hong Kong government and protesters are expected to start by Sunday. The number of demonstrators in the streets is decreasing. However, some remain camped out on the main roads. Some scuffles have taken place. About 30 pro-government demonstrators were driven out of the protesters' camp. The government started a seminar on the basic law that governs Hong Kong, which calls on people to express their opinions peacefully. CCTV's Yu Dan reports.
20-year-old Mandy Lau was among the many young protesters who took to the streets last week. Her parents disagree with her decision, trying hard to persuade her from joining the protests.
My parents didn't agree with me to go out, and even now they don't know I've been a part of the movement for a while.
Shortly after hitting the streets to join the protests, Lau had a change of heart.
I sat on the streets of Mong Kok for a day and then I left.
She said she joined the protest after hearing from her friends that it was a movement for democracy. But when she came out onto the streets, the atmosphere and mood of the protests were not what she had expected.
I think it wasn't about democracy for Hong Kong because many clashes happened at the sites. That's against real democracy. And I found out the protests really disrupted people's lives. The stores around there were all closed. It really hurt Hong Kong's economy. So I decided to leave.
And it's not just her. Opposition to the protests has grown throughout the city. Over the past few days, the Hong Kong Research Association conducted random phone interviews with 1,361 people 18 years or older. It found that 67 people are against the Occupy Central movement, with 54% saying their lives have been greatly affected by the protests. And 46% said the protests have harmed Hong Kong's international image. Right now, I'm in Causeway Bay, one of the main protest sites in Hong Kong. Over the past few days, the crowds here have dwindled significantly, being just a fraction of what they were last week. It may be due to the plea from the deans of 5 universities who come out to persuade the students to come back to class and find a more thoughtful and peaceful way. A letter from a high school principal, which was widely spread online, also helped many students think twice about the protests. He criticized the protesters for claiming to represent the people of Hong Kong, when in fact, they were not given such validation.
I'm a student. Boycotting is definitely not a good thing. As the old saying goes, if you want to make big contributions, you need to build yourself well first. I still care about politics, but I will better myself first.
Now, her main focus is her studies, which will hopefully lead her to a great career that can help contribute to Hong Kong's further development. Yu Dan, CCTV, Hong Kong.